May 12, 2017, 9:24 in the morning, Queen's Medical Centre, Nottingham, England. A nurse sits down at a workstation, opens a patient record, and her screen goes blue. Not the blue of a system update, a different blue, with a message. Your files have been encrypted. To decrypt your files, you need to pay $300 in Bitcoin. You have 3 days.
What is this? Somebody look at this. My screen. I can't get into the patient records.
Same here. Everyone stop what you're doing. Do not click anything. We need AT on the floor right now.
It wasn't just Nottingham. In the time it took that nurse to read the ransom message, WannaCry had already reached 80 NHS trusts across the United Kingdom. Hospitals in London, Liverpool, Blackpool. Across the country, staff were being told to turn off computers, revert to paper records, cancel non-emergency procedures, and redirect ambulances. In some hospitals, the only systems still working were the ones that hadn't been connected to the network. To understand how this happened, you need to go back 2 months, and across the Atlantic. In March 2017, a group calling themselves the Shadow Brokers published what they claimed was a cache of cyber weapons developed by the NSA. The intelligence community did not confirm or deny, but independent researchers did, and what the Shadow Brokers had released was real. Among the tools in that dump was an exploit called Eternal Blue, a flaw in Windows SMB, the protocol computers use to share files on a network. Eternal Blue allowed an attacker to remotely execute code on any unpatched Windows machine without any user interaction. No phishing email, no malicious download, just network access. Microsoft had patched the vulnerability in March, the same month the Shadow Brokers published. But patching takes time, and some systems, like the ones running NHS hospitals, were still running Windows XP, an operating system Microsoft had stopped supporting entirely 3 years earlier. They had no patch to apply even if they had tried. Someone in Pyongyang had read the Shadow Brokers dump very carefully. North Korea's Lazarus Group had taken Eternal Blue, paired it with a ransomware payload, added a self-propagation mechanism, and released the result into the internet on the morning of May 12th. It didn't need a target. It scanned for vulnerable machines. It found them. It spread.
The propagation speed is unlike anything I've seen. It's not phishing, it's not targeted, it's just scanning port 445 and hitting every unpatched machine it can reach. We're seeing infections in the UK, Spain, Russia, India, China. It's been live for 4 hours and it's in 70 countries.
70 countries in 4 hours.
It'll be 150 by end of day.
It was. Within 24 hours, WannaCry had infected more than 200,000 systems in 150 countries. The damage to the NHS alone would later be estimated at £92 million. But inside a single afternoon, it was spreading faster than any human response team could track. And then a 22-year-old in Devon sat down at his laptop. His name online was Malware Tech. His real name was Marcus Hutchins. He'd been watching the WannaCry infections spread across the threat intelligence maps and decided to take a closer look at the malware itself. He pulled a sample and began reverse engineering it.
There's a domain check in here. Before it executes, it tries to reach a specific domain. If the domain resolves, it stops.
What's the domain?
It's unregistered. Nobody owns it.
So if you register it?
If I register it, every WannaCry infection in the world will check that domain, get a response, and stop running. That's the kill switch. I think that's the kill switch.
Marcus Hutchins registered the domain, $10.69. The propagation stopped within minutes. It is still not fully understood why the kill switch was built into WannaCry. The most likely explanation is that it was intended as an emergency brake, a way for the attackers to halt the spread if things got out of hand. If so, it was the mistake that saved hundreds of thousands of additional machines. The machines that were already infected were not saved. The NHS took weeks to fully restore its systems. Thousands of patient appointments had been cancelled. Surgeries had been postponed. The images and test results stored on encrypted machines were inaccessible. No one died as a direct result of the attack. At least, no one died in a way that could be definitively attributed to it. Several hospitals came close.
The United States government has formally attributed the WannaCry ransomware attack to North Korea. The Lazarus Group, operating under the direction of the Reconnaissance General Bureau, developed and deployed this attack with the intent to generate revenue and cause disruption. The attack exploited a vulnerability in tools developed by the National Security Agency that were subsequently stolen and published by an unknown third party.
The NSA never publicly confirmed that Eternal Blue was theirs. They didn't have to. The attribution was settled. The damage was done. And the question that no one in government wanted to answer, whether the agency's stockpile of cyber weapons had made the world less safe, was now impossible to avoid. Marcus Hutchins was celebrated as a hero. 14 months later, he was arrested at Las Vegas airport on unrelated charges stemming from earlier malware he had written as a teenager. He pleaded guilty. He was sentenced to time served. The NHS was warned about its unpatched systems in 2014. In 2016, in the weeks before WannaCry, the patches were available, the resources were not. He stopped a global cyber attack for $10.69. The people who could have stopped it earlier chose not to spend the budget. This is the breach files.